And we've got you covered for the NBA draft with Fran Fraschilla, who joins us here on 98.7 ESPN. It's Don LeGreca and Dave Rothenberg. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. What a night, huh?
Well, it depends on who you talk to, because there's a lot of Knicks fans who were in the building that didn't think it was that great of a night. But you tell us.
Well, wait a minute, Don. I didn't say it was a great night. I just said what a night.
Yeah, but I guess so. But what kind of night did you think it was from a negative or positive standpoint for the Knicks?
Well, you have to understand. I've been doing the international guys on the draft for 10 years, and despite what people want to hear, I don't always congratulate every pick. In fact, I try to be kind when I need to be, when I don't think an international guy can play, and that's been the case many times. But I think after the Okafor, Towns, Russell triumvirate was taken, that my point of view was, why not, and there are reasons to do this, why to draft this kid, but why not swing for the fences on a 7-foot, almost 19-year-old freak athlete with deep shooting range who loves to play, who's a gym rat, who's been well coached, who wants to be in New York, and seems to have tremendous potential. I just thought it was among the guys they could have taken there. This was swing for the fences, and you may have hit a grand slam. We won't know for a year or two. That's the only issue right now, but I think it was a great pick.
Fran, who's the guy in your mind that you can compare Porzingis to? I've heard a lot of Dirk Nowitzki. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is that unfair?
Well, honestly, Don, it's hard to say that anybody's going to be as good as Gasol or Dirk or, Magic or Bird. We never know these kind of things until they actually happen, so I don't want to say this kid's a lock to be an NBA All-Star, but I just think that this is, what this kid is? This is like the guy, this is the rare kid who's pitching in Suffern, New York with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And he's going to be the number one overall pick in the baseball draft, but you're not throwing him in a major league game for a year or two. Now, in this case, it's a little different because he will play right away. And I'm expecting him to start right away, and I'm expecting him to have nights where he gets 23 and 12, and some other nights where he picks up 3 fouls in the first quarter, and, he ends up 1 for 6. So in the long term, I think, yes, there's some Dirk there. There's some Pau Gasol. There's some Andre Kirilenko on the defensive end. He can block shots. We haven't seen a guy this often come down the pike with these kind of tools and athleticism. Has to get stronger. He's only 230. He's got great legs, but the upper body issue is going to be there. And by the way, he's not a center. He may be a center when he's in 8-9 years in, but right now he's a Dirk type stretch 4-man, and of course Dirk kind of invented that position in the NBA 15 years ago, and now everybody seems to have him. So I just think that the upside is there for him to be a very good NBA player.
Now, fans have said this, and Carmelo Anthony said, well, I've got to wait 3 years for this guy. Who could they have picked that would have made an immediate impact in the NBA? Is there a player they could have selected that would make the 2015-16 Knicks better?
I honestly don't think so. I really don't think so. I mean, listen, some people liked Winslow, some people liked Hazonia, some people like Moutier. Obviously, everybody liked the big three at the top of the draft. Those guys would have been ideal. But, if you look back to last year's first round, I try to point this out. If you take away Wiggins and then what Jabari was going to do before he got hurt, you look at a couple other guys. I mean, who really, really had an impact on the league last year as a rookie? Almost no rookies played in the playoffs. I mean, I would defy you guys to tell me a rookie that had a major impact in the NBA playoffs. So my point is, these guys are basically mostly hit and miss. And in recent years, they've been mostly miss. So from that standpoint, that's why I think this makes sense. And, on the Carmelo front, and I'm a Knicks fan. I've been my whole life. I'm old enough now to have remembered the 69-70 Knicks and all the Knicks teams in between. And, I mean, listen, I like Carmelo. He's been a very good NBA player. He's a superstar. But although they signed him to a long-term deal, I just think you can't make a decision based on Him. You just can't because this kid could be 10, 12 years in the league and be a really good player. And Carmelo should want to help Porzingis be the best possible NBA rookie he can be based on his leadership and the fact that he committed to the Knicks last year. So everything Phil and Derek Fisher do, Carmelo should be the one guy that should be on board with everything.
All right, you have the mantle of being the international guy. You know about Porzingis and Hazonia and Moutier. Yep. Well, of the three, was this, in your mind, clearly the right way, or could you have been sold on Hazonia or Moutier at 4?
This was the right guy for the reasons I mentioned before. Hazonia's got a chance to be a very good NBA 2-guard. Moutier, the same thing. He's going to be I don't know if either guy will be an all-star, but they both should be good NBA players. But the problem with Porzingis is his agent did an incredible marketing job the last 2 weeks. The kid showed up in every major basketball publication. He did every interview. They did a dog and pony show workout out in Las Vegas that I attended, and the kid looked like $1 million. But quite frankly, guys, in January and February, those NBA scouts that were in Spain scouting him almost universally said this kid's top 5 pick. So the hype machine got started here the last 2 weeks, and we got to know his English is great. We got to know he likes cartoons, and he wants to be in New York. He said all the right things. But from a strictly talent point of view, he was a top 5 pick as early as the middle of his season in Spain because he showed that much promise.
All right, your thoughts on Jerian Grant?
I tweeted this. I hated to do this, but if the Knicks took Jerian Grant 4th and they traded for Porzingis with whatever pick it was, they would have been cheering this, because everybody loves Jerian Grant because he played at Notre Dame. Simply put, veteran college guy, comes from the family business, so he understands the NBA. He'll be first to practice, last to leave. Good size for a point guard, terrific passer, especially in pick and roll. The one concern and the reason he dropped is maybe age was a little bit of a factor, but also not yet a knockdown shooter. And the way the league is going right now, and you may have seen it in recent years with the Knicks, but if you have guards that can't make shots, then the floor shrinks, and all of a sudden your superstar's got 2 and 3 guys hanging around him. So that's the one thing, and that's why he went low. But very, very serviceable. I don't know if he starts. I would say he's a terrific backup in a rotation right now because he's got savvy.
All right, Fran, enjoy the summer. We'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure.
All right, that's Fran Fraschilla. Always does a tremendous job breaking down the draft.